Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update for the 27th of April 2020, where we've got just under 3 million cases, which will be one of the last days that we have under 3 million cases. And it'll also be one of the last days that America doesn't have a million confirmed cases or hasn't had a million confirmed cases of the coronavirus. And it's about 200,000 people have died so far, and the ratio of those two is, of course, more or less your mortality rate, which is a number I've been keeping track of for some time. So what you got here is total number of cases in the world, which is 2 million going on 3 million, and the mortality is almost up to 7%. Now, I've spent all day editing up a video, which it's actually really depressing looking back. The first video that I did on this was on the 9th of February. And back then, the coronavirus map of the world basically looked like that. There was maybe one or two cases elsewhere in the world, but they were all single digits. And it's actually super depressing going over all the clips of the mainstream media, which is almost exclusively Fox News, saying that it's all massively overplayed and it'll never come to anything. But this is back in the days when, there was basically nothing outside of China, and it was conceivable that you could have dodged the bullet, but it's just one of those sad things that if you've only got one or two cases elsewhere in the world, those are one or two confirmed cases. And in the early days of the virus, you first of all got to get an effective test, and not only that, your chances of successfully identifying all the cases, unless you've got this ready to go infrastructure that's going to trace all the contacts of people who've got the virus, you're looking at maybe detecting, I don't know, 1%, 1 to 10%, something like that. So, if you've got one case in the country, unless you're doing the vigorous contact tracing, this sort of thing becomes kind of inevitable. Anyway, so it turns out that the state of emergency in America was declared about the 9th or something. Yeah, there was somewhere between 500 and 1,000 cases of the coronavirus in America when the state of emergency was declared, which, like I was saying, if you're on the basis that means you've got 10 to 100 times that many cases, just declaring the state of emergency does nothing for you. You've got to be really vigorous in tracking down where those cases are. Anyway, so we're going to take that as our benchmark for how long is it going to take America to get down to 500. I mean, let's just go for 500 new cases in a day. I've been tracking those numbers. These are new cases per day in America. So it was hovering at about the 30,000 new cases per day level. And this is roughly when the state of emergency was declared. And I posted this on my YouTube channel, just as a best guess as to when you might expect America to get down to the point where it can sort of rescind the state of emergency. And, you do your ballpark estimates, 2 to 3 months-ish. And there were loads of people saying that, no, you're not a scientist, you're using straight line approximations. And I think they didn't quite understand that this wasn't an exponent total cases plot, but whatever. And other people were saying that, okay, There are more tests being done, so you're detecting more of the cases. Well, that's not really been quite true of what you've seen in other countries. Anyway, the thing that really kills it is the next few days of data. This was meant to be days past peak, and now we have a new peak. But anyway, so my prediction here maybe looks fairly optimistic. But I mean, let's get a feel for what other countries around the world look like. And if I'm going to suggest that America's going to look like anything, America will be a little more complicated. About a third of the cases are in New York City, and so as they're going down, everyone else is going up. So it'll be a slightly different shape than anywhere else. But this is kind of what Italy looks like. So if we take a look at the daily new cases, days from when the new cases peak, they've about halved in, what is this? That's basically the 20th of March. So about a month they've halved. So again, you'd be looking at least 2 months from when you're peaking to when you're getting down to something sensible. France is all over the place. They keep changing how they measure their stats because reasons. Germany is doing very well, so they're coming down much more steeply. The UK is a disaster, and I keep hearing they're only testing people in hospitals, and they're only counting the deaths in hospitals. These numbers are maybe a factor of 2 undercounted or something. Yeah, these are the things that when China was, maybe doing similar, they were, massive cover-up, fudging the stats, whatever. I mean, you expect that people have different ways of counting these things. Whatever. As long as the counting is consistent, you can see that it's going to be a long time before the UK gets back to something sensible. So let's compare that. Actually, let's put Russia on there. Russia looked ugly. But even at that, they may be starting to plateau some. And who was doing well? Australia. Where's Australia? Australia. There you go. So Australia peaked, and they got back to sensible levels really very quickly. So again, they're a month, and it's starting to look a lot more sensible, right? But for certain places like Italy, it's going down pretty slow, and for the US, you expect it to be fairly similar. So, based on all of that, you're looking. That's exactly what you were just looking at. That's the new cases per day. It's about 30,000 per day. And state of emergency was declared. Oh, I'm not even too sure I'll be able to hit it. State of emergency was declared about there, when there were about 300 cases per day. So you've got to get the new cases per day down to that sort of level. It's not going to happen anytime soon. And it's a ways off. And anyway, so that's pretty much the update for today. The other thing that has been grinding my gears today is, again, just being purged from the Google search that I searched directly for this video that I did on the 9th of February. I put the exact name. I put the exact name in quotation marks. I had the word Thunderfoot to it, and it just doesn't appear at all in Google, which, of all the people to bloody purge the guy who looked at the actual raw data. It's got to be said, I wasn't the first to this party by a long way. The World Health Organization had declared the public health emergency at least a week beforehand, and a week before then, China had quarantined great sections of their country. But at least I went and looked at the data and made the predictions from it. And what do I get from my efforts? I get purged. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you drop a thumbs up on the video. And there's Patreon links at the end if you want to support it that way. Anyway, many thanks and see you next time.